Hi everyone, today we're going to cover the 12 levels of integration of ecology, which contains molecules, subcellular organelles, cells, tissues, organs, organ system, individual organism, populations, communities, ecosystems, landscapes, and biosphere. As you go up the levels of integration, starting with molecules, the scientific understanding decreases. For example, we know a lot about the molecular and cellular levels of integration, but not so much about populations, less about communities, and even less about ecosystems. Ecology deals primarily with populations, communities, ecosystems, landscapes, and biosphere. What's a biosphere? It's the whole Earth ecosystem, also called the ecosphere. It's the ecosystem comprising the entire Earth and the living organisms that inhabit it. It comprises the totality of biodiversity on Earth. Moving to landscape, it's a section or expanse of rural scenery, usually extensive, that can be seen from a single viewpoint. Now Lewin is going to talk about ecosystem.
An ecosystem is a biotic community and its biotic environment. It's a system or a group of interconnected elements formed by the interaction of a community of organisms with their environment. There are three major classes of ecosystem: freshwater, terrestrial, and ocean. Here we have a picture of a freshwater ecosystem. A freshwater ecosystem is a subset of Earth's aquatic ecosystems. They include lakes and ponds, rivers, streams, springs, and wetlands. They can be contrasted with marine ecosystems, which have a larger salt content. Next, Jennifer will talk about communities within a freshwater ecosystem.
A community is a group of interacting populations living in the same area or habitat. The community usually consists of different species of organisms. In a freshwater ecosystem, an example of a community would be lily pads, frogs, and fish interacting with each other. This picture shows an example of a community within a freshwater ecosystem. A population in terms of ecology is a group of organisms of the same species occupying a particular habitat at a particular time that are capable of interbreeding. All members are therefore potentially part of a single gene pool. Members of a population share many adaptations that help them survive in the environmental conditions of the habitat they are born into. This picture shows an example of a population. Finally, Adrita will be talking more about population and the conclusion.
There are separate populations of a single species living in different regions of the world adapted to different climatic conditions. For example, a population of frogs living in the tropics would be adapted to warmer environmental conditions than a population of frogs living further up north. Geologic separation over long periods of time may cause the two populations to accumulate enough differences so that they are no longer capable of breeding amongst each other. This may lead to speciation. To sum up our presentation, ecology is essentially concerned with the last 5 levels of integration: population, communities, ecosystems, landscapes, and the biosphere. Populations of different organisms form communities in a certain habitat. Communities in a certain region, together with the abiotic components of the habitat, form ecosystems. Several ecosystems within a region of a certain set of environmental conditions form a landscape. All landscapes within the globe form the biosphere. Thank you very much. This was the end of our presentation.